Hello, hello. Good to see you here. All right. Hello, hello. All right. Ah, thank you for being here. I'm super excited. So, I've got a question for you. Have you ever had that moment where you look around at your life and think, I should be further along by now? It's not just disappointment, it can be even be shame, it can be urgency. It's the quiet panic of what if I've wasted too much time? And it will haunt you even if things are technically going well. So let's talk about that belief today. Day 6 of beliefs. Today's is I should be further along. And for those that don't know me, my name is Vicki Poole. I help people identify and transform their beliefs that keep them stuck so they can move forward with clarity, confidence, and aligned action. I'm a master transformational coach and a board certified hypnotist. And this month, I'm live every day exploring the hidden beliefs that block your success, your joy, your peace, and your momentum. Not in theory, in real life. Like I said, today is day 6, and we're shining a light on the belief I should be further along. And this belief, hello, hello, Nicole, nice to see you. So, this belief doesn't always show up with words. Sometimes it shows up with feelings. The sudden dread when you see someone younger doing what you wanted to do. And I mean, right now, the amount of people that are young that are doing astronomical things because of AI and everything, oh my gosh, it can really put you in a tailspin if you're not careful. And then there's the low grade irritation that bubbles up when things take longer than expected. You had this plan years ago of by the time I reach this age, this is where I'm going to be, and you didn't get there. But what's really a big one is the inability to celebrate yourself because it's not enough yet. The self criticism that sounds like urgency. I need to hurry, right? I'm behind. I should have already been there. I've wasted so much time and I'm still not where I want to be. Or maybe it hits you like a wave when you scroll, you compare, when your birthday rolls around and suddenly you're stuck in a loop of, what have I even done with my life? Even if you've done a lot, we can spend time going down that rabbit hole of all the things we didn't do. And this belief often forms in a pressure cooker. So maybe you grew up with high expectations or were praised for achievements more than effort. You had to get the award. Maybe you got the message early that your worth was tied to how fast or how much you could produce. Or maybe you're a cycle breaker and no one taught you how to measure success beyond survival. So your timeline has always felt off. And add that to the world we live in, where people are praised for making it by 25, where algorithm timelines become comparison traps. Comparison traps for sure, right? Where our nervous system is always being pulled toward urgency. It's no wonder we feel behind sometimes, even when we're on the right path. I believe that I'm in the moment and I've been through so much in my life that I resist the fear Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Nicole. So let's talk about the cost of believing the limiting belief I should be further along. Do you have any ideas on that, Nicole? What is the cost of believing I should be further along? Because it's not just pressure, it robs you of presence, and it can actually turn progress into punishment. It can turn small wins into shame because you're comparing it to what somebody else's big wins are, and it makes it feel like they're not enough. It can turn your life into a race you can never win. It's like walking up a mountain and never letting yourself turn around and look at the view, because you're only obsessed with how far there is to go. And the heartbreaking part is this belief convinces you to quit right before things get good. It has cost me paralyzing fear. Yeah, I know. But we're going to get to a place where maybe we can help you get a little past that one. Because this fear says, if I'm not there yet, I must be doing it wrong. So you stop. Not because you're failing, but because your inner timeline is lying to you. So here's today's reframe. And go ahead and write this down, and maybe that will help you. So instead of saying, I should be further along, ask yourself, according to who? On whose timeline? Based on what story? Because what if you're not behind? You're being refined. You're not late. You're being prepared. You didn't waste time. You lived, you learned. And so one of the things that comes to me as I'm talking about this is, there's not a person alive that has an amazing story that you follow. I was just watching a movie the other day about a boy that was, I think he was 10, and he was playing with, and I've seen him speak on stage at one of the seminars I went to. But he was 10 years old and he was playing with matches or a lighter and gasoline, and it ended up blowing him up, and he was burned. 100% of his body was burned, and he even lost his fingers. There was so much that happened to him. And in the beginning, he was thinking, he kept saying, why me? Why me? Why me? And as he got older, he realized how, even though that was tragic, it created a life he never would have ever imagined because of it. And like I had a guest on my podcast, and I talk about him often because he was my first podcast guest for Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. And I was blown away because he was a gentleman that had diabetes, and he didn't take care of himself, and he ended up losing his leg from the knee down. But what really struck me was that he said it was the best thing that ever happened to him, because his life just pivoted in a way that he said, if I had been trying to create that end result that I have, I would have never been able to. And so I guess I'm saying that because everything that you have gone through, even the things that hurt tremendously, the things that didn't go right, the things that you almost wish you could go back and change, they weren't wasted. You lived, you learned, you're not broken, you're blooming in your own season. So the thing I want you to really, really grasp tonight is that if you will take and make a list of the things that have happened in your life, good and the bad, and look at how it changed you, and just know that if you're not where you want to be, it's because you still got a little changing to do. I'm a survivor of some serious crime, so I resist the state of paralyzing fear because it certainly doesn't help. I am safe, in contact with law enforcement, and on a wellness quest plan. Good for you, Nicole. Good for you. So you need to be writing down some stories, writing down a little bit, because there are people probably in this world that could benefit from the tragic stuff that you've gone through, that you can help somebody else. And I know sometimes if we're really in the middle of something, it's hard to look at things that way. It's usually when you get to the other side, right? We can't see our own stuff. We can't see the gift that's there. And, it's not that we would wish those things to happen or wish them on someone else, but we want to, if we can find a way to make it an asset in some way. That's all I'm suggesting. Make some notes of it, write down your thoughts, be journaling if you're not journaling right now, and really give it a good go. So when it comes to this particular belief, I should be further along. I want you to try this on instead. Just like putting on a new shirt, a new coat, and saying, yeah, that one fits. First one, I'm exactly where I need to be to learn what I need to learn. Second one, nothing is wasted. It all belongs. And the third one, this one's my favorite. Delay doesn't mean denial. It means I'm becoming the person that can handle whatever that thing may be. And just take a breath with that. Let your system soften for just a little bit. And so what I want you to do is to go ahead and get your journal or your notebook out and write down I'll put up 2 fingers, write down 3 things you've learned in the past 5 years that make you a better version of yourself. And it's like I was on a call earlier in the Mining Your Acres of Diamonds call. And one of the things that we were talking about was some of the beliefs, right? And that we have to update our operating system, just like computers and phones, right? And you can't live an iPhone 2016 life in an iPhone 2010 frame. It won't work. You've got to grow through all the phases to get to this place and be able to sustain it. The fact that people who win the lottery, 90% of them are worse off within 1 to 5 years than they were when they won, unless they were already wealthy to begin with, because they didn't have the growth of getting there, the learning about themselves and learning to deal with money and everything. They end up losing it all, giving it all away. They do something to where they're worse off because they didn't grow into that person. And so I want to make sure that you are able to grow into being that better person, that better version of yourself. So like I said, write down 3 things you've learned in the past 5 years that make you a better version of yourself, even if they weren't part of your plan. And most of the time, the ones that really affect you aren't part of the plan. We just have no clue, right? And you can call them my invisible curriculum. Become some of the most powerful growth doesn't come with trophies. It comes with scars and stories and wisdom, and it still counts. So remember, it's not what happens to us that creates amazingness or creates not so amazingness, right? 2 people can have the same thing happen, and one of them can figure out a way that it was a blessing, something that they learned, how they could grow from it. And the other person stays in the tragedy and stays a victim, right? So it's not what happens to you, it's how you interpret and how you feel about the things that happen to you. And like I said, a lot of times it's not easy to even have an outlook like that until you've gone through it for a little bit. So if you're going through something now that is really bad and hard, oh, good. This is very helpful. And you're glad you came up on my feed. Well, me too, Nicole. Me too. And if you are not, if you haven't followed me already, go ahead and give me a follow. But the thing is that you are more capable than you ever could imagine. And by the way, really quick, if this belief feels uncomfortably familiar and you're realizing how long you've been living inside it, I want to offer you a grounded next step. I'm opening a limited number of decision reset sessions. So what this is it's a 45-minute private session where we identify the belief or the internal conflict that's keeping you stuck and reset it so you can move forward with clarity and self-trust. Now, this is not coaching. It's not a pep talk. This is for women who are done circling the same question and are ready to choose. Now, I kept the investment low. It's only $149. And if deeper work is needed, I'll let you know. But many people experience meaningful relief and direction from this session alone. You can book it now using the link below. I forgot to share the link. All right, there is the link, and I'll try to put it in the comments. And just a reminder, you're not behind. You're just being called forward. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 7. Now, Nicole, I don't go live at the same time every day. My resilience surprises even me. Oh, I love that. I love that. So definitely be making some notes about your life, and there's no telling who you'll be able to help on your journey. And like I was saying, is I'm going live the last few days of January. I'm going live every day, but it's different time every day depending on what my schedule is. So just keep a watch, and I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, with our next for day 7, isn't it? Yeah, for day 7's limiting belief. It's a good one. And I'll see you then. Thank you for showing up and for commenting. I will see you soon. And remember, life is delicious. Mwah.